World Economic Forum 2011. What should be learned from the financial crisis? We'll be talking to the CEO of the Metro Group, Eckhard.
Mr. Cordes, we are here at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Does the world really need this kind of meeting nowadays?
Well, these kind of meetings are beneficial. Why is that so? Because, it's a get-together of different groups. Political leaders are here, NGO leaders are here, and representatives of the major companies worldwide are here. And then so far, it's a very efficient get-together of different groups.
If you say efficient, could you describe this a bit for us?
Yeah, you have the unique opportunity to meet people who you should or must meet. You can meet 12 people in one day who you should talk to. Were we not in Davos and I would try to meet these 12 people, it would probably take 8 weeks or so. Mm-hmm. So this is what I mean by efficiency.
And what personal significance does this meeting have for you?
Well, different ones. First of all, we are dealing here with different subjects. We've been talking and are talking about the question whether or not the financial or economic crisis is over. We've talked about what are the learnings that we have gotten from the crisis. Are we better prepared for the future now? We are dealing with other issues that really matter.
Now, talking about the financial crisis, did we really learn? Have we learned from the financial crisis? Don't we have to redefine capitalism nowadays?
Well, first of all, I think the leaders, if I may put it that way, are now more risk conscious. We know and have learned what the risks are. Have the risks gone away? No, and they cannot go away. But let me repeat, there is a higher degree of risk consciousness now, which is good. Has capitalism to be redefined? I wouldn't go that far. The kind of capitalism which we have in Germany and other Western European countries, I'm convinced is still the best way to organize an economy. And I think what's important now, or more than ever, that we communicate. We as CEOs and also political leaders better communicate to the population the advantages of a modern capitalistic society, which also emphasizes the aspect of social questions, social welfare.
Mm-hmm. You said the risks are not gone and can't be gone. What kind of risks do you see? What are the most risky ones?
The main risks, in my view, come from the extreme degree of complexity and interconnectedness. The past crisis is the best example. An issue, or a problem, or a challenge that started in the private real estate sector in the US ultimately led to the fact that big banks disappeared and went bankrupt. This shows how interconnected the world is, and one has to deal with this interconnectedness. That's number one. And number two, we still have the issue, and this is an extremely important issue, the high indebtedness of states. And there are, especially for Western Europe, so if I may put it that way, even more risks to come, which people have not talked about sufficiently yet. And those are the questions of the demographic development, especially in Western Europe, and the economic consequences that will come from that.
You said interconnectivity, others say globalization. So does that have also downturns?
Yes, it has advantages and downturns. Without this situation that everything is connected with everything, our economic well-being would not be there where it is right now. But obviously, if everything is interconnected, and it is, then obviously a problem here creates or might create problems there, and it's harder then to come to grips with it, more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Emerging economies like Brazil or India are growing fast, rapidly. You see it here also in Davos, the delegations are getting bigger. How do you see the development in these emerging markets?
Yes, what you said is absolutely right. Davos, you see it, you feel it, you can touch it, is a melting pot of people coming from all over the world. The BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, they are back on the scene, especially also Russia. They have good economic growth. China probably double-digit this year. Other countries joined that club, if I may put it that way. For instance, Turkey, Indonesia, South Africa. And that, this development, yes, the US and Western Europe will continue to grow, but at a significantly lower speed than BRIC countries or similar countries.
But how does this affect your corporate policy?
Well, we are a retailer. We are world's number 3, size-wise, the world's number 3 retailer, and we are a globally active retailer. Why do I emphasize retailer? We cannot export. If we want to do business, our business is truly local. So that means that emerging markets, Asia, emerging markets in Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Russia, those are the markets where we do our investments with over proportionally, which does not mean that we don't invest in Western Europe. We do, but the relative portion of cash investments is higher for Asian countries and Eastern European countries. Otherwise, we would not be able to generate a sufficiently high growth rate.
Mm-hmm. Another pressing issue debated here in Davos are the rising food prices. How do you think about the situation? Is it dramatic?
Well, I wouldn't say dramatic. It's an issue. It's a challenge. But first of all, one has to bear in mind that food prices have gone or went down in 2010 and 2009. Yes, that tendency has been reversed now. We see a certain inflation for certain products, for instance, wheat. Everybody, the manufacturers, the food industry, and also the retailers are aware of it. We are carefully dealing with it, and we have understood the challenges which stem from that.
Is it a distribution problem or is it a real problem?
It is basically a distribution problem. We have, as we all know, in mature Western European countries or also in the US, there is more food available than needed. So we have the challenge of what to do with sort of affluent food. On the other hand side, Africa, there is a lack of food. So we have to come up with systems to better distribute what is out there. But as we all know, world population will grow to 9 billion plus.
And then?
And then we need more efficient, better technologies to cope with that challenge.
Do you think the world is prepared for this?
I'm not saying that we have sort of already implemented everything we need. That is not the case. But the good message is that there is a sufficient number of relevant people out there who think about it and who know what needs to be done. And now it's a question of implementation in the years to come.
Up with some solutions very soon. Mr. Cordes, thank you very much for joining